Off the Beaten Path is brought to you by Warner Sales and Service, your local Bobcat and Hustler dealer. Mastrovito Hyundai, a trusted name in auto sales. And All Seasons Outfitters. Get your sports season started off right.
On this episode, we head down to Madison County, where the Florenz boys are hunting the youth turkey weekend. And then we'll join up with their father, Jason, as he heads up to northern Oneida County on the last weekend of spring turkey.
Well, we got some turkeys that we're roosting right now. It's youth weekend, my first turkey hunt, and I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope we can double up this weekend and get a bird down.
And last night we were roosting some turkeys in our field over across the road. We got a pretty good idea where they are. So we're gonna go set up a blind right in the field, see if we can get one.
Stay tuned, you're watching Off the Beaten Path.
Doubled up, bub. Doubled up, boys. Doubled up. Good job, Bubby. Good job, monkey. Good job.
You got a double beard, Tucker.
Doubled them up.
Double beard.
Double. Holy shoot. That's awesome.
There's another one right there.
What do you think about that, bub?
Huh?
Huh?
That was awesome.
That was incredible. That's some action. Tuck, what do you think, bud?
Awesome.
Huh? What do you got to say?
That was awesome.
Huh?
That was a good hunt.
It was a wicked hunt, wasn't it, buddy?
Yeah.
It was an awesome first turkey hunt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. It don't happen much. It don't happen much better.
No.
Off the Beaten Path is brought to you by Athens Archery, the ultimate hunting bow, period. The Gunworks of Central New York, your full-service gunsmith. Zeus Broadheads, Smart Head Technology. And AccuFire, advancing accuracy.
Well, these two boys They work really hard at all this. They help every time we need to get something done. They never complain. They love doing this. This is what it's all about.
As you can see, we got some big birds here, and
We doubled up, and that was awesome. It was an awesome hunt. I don't know what to say. This is just really, I'm really thankful. We were sitting in the blind. We got in the blind at 4:30, right? And we started hearing them gobble, and Dad started calling them in. They kept on coming closer and closer, and then I don't know what happened, but then a hen came out, and that Tom started going downward, farther away from us. Then Dad kept calling, and then they kept coming up, and they came out right next to us. They came out towards the decoys.
we were able to get a smackdown on them.
An awesome hunt.
Yeah.
We're hunting up near my house in northern Oneida County. Haven't seen anything for birds in the last 2 weeks. And then yesterday I saw a whole bunch of strutters jumping back and forth across the road on a piece of property I just got permission to hunt 2 weeks ago. And never been in there. Just glassing it from the road. It was all clear cut. And there's just roadways cut through it. And it's, you know, the second growth coming up. It's so thick.
Well, we just got in a truck, ready to head up to Frank's. Got a couple birds that have been out in the same place, last week here. So we're headed up there. Gonna move in on them, see what happens. Hopefully we can get them shot early and enjoy the rest of the day. It's 3 o'clock, 55 degrees. Should be a good morning, nice and clear. Said they were gobbling good yesterday, so we'll see what happens.
There's toms jumping the road every day, back and forth from work. I've seen them all over. So me and Jason decided to make a move on them. And stay tuned. We're going to get after them. We'll see what happens.
Off the Beaten Path is brought to you by Buck Fever Synthetic Scents. Make bucks hunt you. The New York State Big Buck Club, recognizing the New York hunter and their trophies. Keystone Game Calls, the originator of the wedge. Live Free Armory, accurate and efficient firearms. Badlands Gear, unconditional hunting gear.
The Big Buck Profile is brought to you by the New York State Big Buck Club.
Well, we're here at the banquet with Katie.
Yes.
Frank, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell us a little about the deer. What county, what weapon of harvest, and how many inches? And a little story with it if you got.
Yeah, so this 10-point here, I actually didn't come up with a name for him yet, but I watched him all year, and he was never in the same place twice. He was always like bottom of the property, middle, top, and I never got to see him, except for on trail cam. So I hunted him real hard. Almost every day I was out there during bow season, crossbow. I saw little bucks, decent 2.5-year-old deer, and I was like, no, wait. So on December 5th, in the middle of the day, this guy comes around, and he just came out of nowhere, and all I saw was the rack. I didn't even see the body, and I knew exactly which deer it was. So I've been hunting with my grandfather's Marlin 30-30. He gave it to me right before he passed.
Awesome.
And I hunt in Broome, and so this deer and I have a little bit of history. I got pictures of him from the year before, and I decided that this was the deer I needed to have last year, and so it was a pretty good day. Of course, it's noontime, so I'm sitting on my phone thinking nothing's gonna come by, and I just saw the sun hit his antlers just right, and I looked up, about 85 yards, there he was. And
That's awesome.
he laid down, and I had no shot, and now I'm sitting in my tree stand, and I've got my gun, the gun bars up, and I've got my gun up, and I'm like shaking because I'm nervous. I don't want him to smell
The fever.
me. Well, kinda. Not so much that I was, there's a big buck in front of me, but it's the situation you're in.
Absolutely.
You don't want him to wind you. You don't want him to hear you. He lays down, and now I've got no shot. And he put his head, like when he was laying, he put his head down right in front of his vitals. So I'm like, now I'm growing impatient because the deer I've been after all year is just laying there like 85 yards, and I got him in the scope, but it's not the best shot. So I'm pulling the gun bar up, and I moved so much. This deer should have saw me, should have heard me, but he never did. Now I'm down, and I'm like crouched in my tree stand, and still not the best shot. And then he picks his head back up. I'm like, oh, okay, now I really need to get settled. I went through my breathing motions, and I calmed myself down, and I had him in my sights. And the first shot I missed, and he did not move. He just laid there like, oh, okay, someone's shooting, because they're shooting around the area. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss him? I ended up taking the gun home to make sure it was shooting straight, and it shoots straight. And so I repositioned, and I took a second shot. And that time he stood up, because I think what happened was the bullet just went under him, just under him, right in his bed. So he stood up, and he started to walk away, and I'm like, well, there goes the biggest deer of your life, out of your life forever, because you were too antsy to take this shot. And I'm literally beating myself up in my tree stand, and I'm like, in my head, I'm screaming and yelling and cussing and swearing. And I forgot that I've gotten really good with the extinguisher, the deer call. So it comes with a bunch of DVDs and how-tos and understanding deer language and things like that. So I've gotten really, really good with it. And I whipped that thing out, and I called this deer back like that. He came nearly running back. His hair was up. You could just tell he was just out.
All postured. Yeah.
His fur was up. His tail was going, and he was coming back to fight. So I painted the picture that there was another doe and a mature buck over here, right where you just were. Came right back, and I videoed it, and I still get, slapped in the back of the head a couple times. Like, what are you doing? You missed them twice, and now you're gonna whip your phone out and take a video of it. So the third time was the charm, and he went about 45 yards and piled up in almost the same spot as the year before. I got a really nice 8-pointer that I was after all year as well. So since
Crazy story.
Since my grandfather passed, one of the last things I told them was send the big, use your ghost voodoo and send me some big bucks. And since he's passed, the last year we hunted together, he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn with his 30-30. And after he passed, I took it out and shot it, and it was on the money. So every year since then, I've gotten a bigger and bigger deer. And
That's great.
I I beat last year's 8 was the family's biggest. You know, the antlers are bigger than anything he's ever gotten, or my uncle or my brother. And then this guy comes along, and so it really does feel good that.
So what was the gross inches on the score?
So he's 142 before deductions, and after deductions he's 140 and an eighth. So
that's awesome.
He is almost as perfect as an animal's rack could possibly
very
be.
symmetrical.
Very, very symmetrical.
Yeah, that's
So-
great. Well, thank you very much for coming
thank
by
you.
and
I
sharing your
appreciate
story.
it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
So.
Off the Beaten Path is proud to partner with these outfitters. Eastern Canadian Outfitters in Ontario and Quebec. Conklin's Lodge, Patten, Maine. Governor's Table Camp, New Brunswick. And Rhino Outdoor Adventures in the great state of Texas. Follow our social media pages to stay up to date on all our adventures.
What a hunt, man. Last weekend of the season.
Last weekend.
Memorial Day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Got her done at the Buzzard.
That happened quick.
Yep. Boy, good thing we moved.
Yeah, they came
right
were
down.
standing where we were sitting.
Yeah, they came right down that road. That would not have been good. Good thing we moved. Man, what a hunt that was. They came in hard. You'll see on the footage they attacked the decoys a little bit. Oh, another awesome hunt this morning. New York turkey season 2023. This is the last weekend. Memorial Day's tomorrow. And I finally punched my tag. Big thanks to Frank. He's been watching these birds for most of the season here. Yesterday saw them in the morning and couldn't get them roosted last night, but pretty sure they were in here. So we came in this morning and set up. Took a long time for them to gobble. They're on the roost. I don't think they even talk on the roost at all. And then finally, one fired off as we were moving around. We got set up, and then luckily we switched our position because they came right in from where we were sitting, and they came right to the decoys and the keystone calls, and the rest is history. What a great hunt! Should have doubled, but that's the way it goes. We had a great hunt. One I'll never forget. It's our first good hunt together. We actually got a kill. We've never done that before, so kudos to that. Here, are you watching Off the Beaten Path?
If you don't know, now you know. There he is.
The Buzzard bird.
The Buzzard bird.